welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. I am so excited to be bringing these YouTube videos back to you guys, and what better time than the new year. I cannot believe that it's 2026. I feel like 2025, like I blinked and it was over, and I truly don't think I've ever felt so excited to go into a new year, and that's partially because my New Year's goals this year are so exciting for me, and I want to share with you guys how I made my New Year's goals, how I have best learned to make my New Year's goals in my 31 years of existence, and how I would suggest that you guys do it. 2025 was the year of what the fuck? Genuinely, the last few years going into the new year, I've been hit with something like a freaking bus, and I'll have the few weeks leading up to it in December or November, and I'll be so excited to be going into the new year, and then bam, just like that, it gets swept out from under me. And I think what I've learned in all of that is that life is just going to keep lifing, and so I just need to keep moving forward. And so that's what we're doing this year, is making these New Year's goals with the understanding that it's not going to be easy just because it's the new year. Obviously, the new year energy is around us, and the new year motivation is amazing, but that doesn't mean that it's going to make it easy. So 2025 was the year that I really settled into Chicago. I moved from Phoenix to Chicago at the end of 2024, and so this past year was a lot of just foundation laying, and I think that that kind of bummed me out a little bit because I was expecting a year of massive growth, and instead of experiencing a year of massive growth, it was 3/4 of a year of laying foundation brick by brick. And I think that's something that gets lost, is that our life is broken down into seasons, and not every season is going to be a season of growth. So keep that in mind as you guys are thinking about your New Year's goals, that sometimes it's better to be laying foundation than to be trying to build on a broken foundation. Ooh, that was profound. At the end of 2025, as some of you guys might know, I competed in my first High Rocks. She caught the bug. Yes, she did. She caught the bug. Y'all, I can't get enough of it. I'm already signed up for Vegas, and so that's been a huge help in setting my New Year's goals, because I already had set at least one of them at the end of 2025. So, Vegas. Here she comes. High Rocks was the first fitness goal that I had that was not physique related. If you guys remember, I also did a bodybuilding competition a few years back, and the relationship that I had with bodybuilding was not a good one. I don't know many people that can say differently, but it was an amazing experience. I loved being able to see, you know, my mental strength, and then I saw it and I said, okay, cool. I learned that, now we can move on, and now I get to see my physical strength, which is so cool. It's so cool. So I'm planning on my Vegas High Rocks in February, which is obviously towards the beginning of the year. That leads me into how I've set my New Year's goals, how I suggest you guys do, and then what I've learned works and doesn't work. Let's get into it. Did I already say that? Were we already into it? Let's get into it further. Before we do get into it, make sure that you guys give this a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe. That way you're not missing any of my fitness tips or meal prep tips, or just like good vibes and energy as we go into this new year. Okay, so tip number one, and this is probably not going to be anything new for you guys, but when you set your goals, make them extremely realistic. When I work with clients for the first time, I always tell them that I want their goals to be something that is so achievable that you're almost like, dang, I'm bored as hell. But at the end of each week, we're celebrating. We're celebrating the success along the way. So making sure that you're setting goals that are so realistic that they're almost boring to you is of the utmost importance.
Utmost?
Utmost.
Agree to disagree.
It sounds cheesy, but use the SMART goal framework, something that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. I know that we've learned about that since we were like 5, but there's a reason why it works. You want your goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely for a reason. You want to be able to celebrate the success along the way. And if they're not specific or measurable, you're not going to be able to measure your success along the way and therefore celebrate your success along the way. Another way that I've learned to approach my goals for the year is that I will make my year goals, so at the end of 2026, what I would like my life to look like, and then I will break it down into quarters and then into months. I know. It's a lot, but it helps in making those long-term goals to then break it down and say, wow, that's a really cool long-term goal, but maybe that's not quite realistic or timely for the first quarter, which will then straight segue into my next point, which I think is possibly my biggest, dang, I got a lot of good points. This might be one of the best ones though. And it's kind of a hot topic, I would say. I do not agree with the fitness influencers or the personal trainers or just the people in the world that tell you to rely fully on discipline. I think that's trash because a lot of people don't have the discipline to rely on in the first place. So that's why New Year's goals can be so beneficial because you can use that motivation to then create habits that then create discipline that you can then lean on whenever motivation is lacking. Most people that got into fitness had a motivator. So if you're hearing from somebody to just rely on discipline, they're probably coming to you from a place of having an initial extrinsic motivation that got them into fitness. So whether that is the new year or you have a wedding coming up or you have a vacation, use that as motivation to then establish habits, to then establish a discipline and a routine. Oh, she's spitting straight fact. Is it getting hot in here? Is it just me? Okay, now my last piece of advice, and this is what my entire spiel is about on social media for the most part, is to make sure that you guys are not going out too hot. You are still maintaining a balanced lifestyle and you are preventing burnout. The number one reason why people quit their fitness journeys is because they end up burning out. They go out of the gate way too hot. They say, I'm gonna work out 6-7 days a week, and they do it for a couple of weeks and then they burn out because that's not maintainable. Or maybe they switch their diet from eating fast food every day to eating chicken, broccoli, and rice every day. There is a way to make healthy changes that are going to help you reach your goals without completely changing up your routine. Small steps along the way. If you feel like you are significantly far away from where you want to be at the end of the year, meaning right now you don't have a good relationship with food, you don't move your body, that's okay. Start small. And understand that, again, at the end of 2026, this is our goal. I want to be working out 5 days a week. I want to be cooking the majority of my meals at home. I want to be eating this much protein. Let me hold your hand whenever I say this. Okay? It's not gonna happen right away. It's just not. And it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. You should be inching your way towards that lifestyle. I'm 10 years in and I still live a balanced lifestyle. I have drinks, I eat out, I don't cook every single meal at home, and I don't move my body 7 days a week. That ain't true. I do move my body. I don't go to the gym 7 days a week. Balance is key because balance allows for consistency, and consistency is key. Last but not least, I would venture to say that the second most prominent reason why people quit their fitness journeys is because they're not tracking their progress. If you are doing it on your own, especially if you're doing it on your own, do not, please, for the love of God, quit on yourself because you feel like you haven't seen progress in the first 2 weeks. Take progress pictures and weigh yourself once a week. Once a week. No more. No less, no more. Track your progress because you are making progress, you're just not tracking it, which means you're just not seeing it because you see yourself in the mirror every day. You're not gonna see progress in the mirror, but you are gonna see it whenever you compare progress pictures. You are gonna see it if you have a scale that you're getting on that shows your body fat percentage and your skeletal muscle mass as well as your weight. This is a long-term goal. You're not only working out to reach that specific number on the scale or size of clothing or even the weight that you're lifting or the mileage time that you want to run your mile in. You are still working out for your health and your longevity of life and your future life. Future family, future livelihood. If you're quitting on yourself just because you're not seeing progress, you're quitting on your future self having a better life, period. She is spitting straight fire. That is getting hot in here. That is all I have for you guys as far as how I set my goals and how I suggest that you guys set your goals. You guys can find some prompts below to help you guys run through exactly the goal setting that I just talked about. So take some time this week to set your goals and set yourself up for a successful 2026. Remember that life keeps lifing, and the best way to approach it is to keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep thinking about your future self. Here's to breaking cycles, breaking bad habits, and creating your dream life for your future self. All right, you guys, I'll see you guys in the next video, and Happy New Year. Thanks for joining me. Good job, Indy. Good job. She's dead asleep. I love you. All right, bye.